For Comedy Hype News, I'm Dom Smith. The same way SNL introduced us to Eddie Murphy and Mad TV introduced us to Aries Spears and Jordan Peele, Wild 'N Out has proven itself to become a launching pad for the up-and-coming comedians of today. D. Ray Davis, Affion Crockett, Spanky Hayes, Cat Williams, and Corey Holcomb all come from the show. Despite the number of stars that were part of the cast and took off, there were also a few that we remember that we don't see as much, but still wonder what they've been up to. Here's some cast members that disappeared from Wild 'N Out. Randall Park got to start acting in the early 2000s, mostly guest starring in several shows like Reno 911, ER, and House. Park's first regular gig on TV was none other than Nick Cannon's Wild 'N Out. Park joined the cast during the third season and stayed on for 2 years. When I first started acting, I was really genuinely okay with the idea of struggling for the rest of my life. You kinda have to in order to do what you love. In that same interview, Park revealed that while he was working at Wild 'N Out, he was also working at Starbucks to help pay off his student loans. Park was 32 at the time. I needed it. MTV is not known for paying super well. After season 4, Park left the show but continued to act and would eventually get his big break. In 2014, he played the role of Kim Jong-un in the controversial film, The Interview. To North Koreans, the film was so offensive that their government threatened action against the United States if Sony released the film. After delaying the release a few times, movie theater chains eventually decided to not release the film due to threats of terrorist attacks. In addition to his breakout role in The Interview, Park also played Louis Wong for 6 seasons on Fresh Off the Boat, where he received 2 Critics' Choice Award nominations for Best Actor in 2016 and 2017. Park's Wild 'N Out roots helped him with his role, as his character was a big fan of hip-hop. Mikey Day was a part of the original cast of Wild 'N Out and stayed on for the show's first 6 seasons after being discovered from an improv group. After leaving the show, Day scored a recurring segment that parodied TMZ on The Jay Leno Show and later The Tonight Show. From there, Day was hired as a writer for SNL in 2013 and was promoted to the cast in 2016, where he still is till this day. Naima Funk was also one of the original cast members of Wild 'N Out, staying for the show's first 3 seasons and later making a return in season 15. Funk got her start in improv in Second City, Chicago. After spending 2 seasons on the cast, Funk revealed that she was almost fired from the show before its 3rd season in a radio interview. My husband was hired as the improv coach for Wild 'N Out and he gets a phone call. Goes to this meeting for Wild 'N Out and he comes home and says, "Hey, it wasn't a meeting. It was an audition and we were auditioning your replacement." The news would shock Funk as she wasn't expecting to be let go. According to Funk, she found out that Nick didn't want her back because she was too old. After a few weeks, Funk received a call from MTV saying that they made a mistake and Nick wants her back for the 3rd season. After leaving Wild 'N Out, Funk wouldn't have a role as memorable. She was part of the cast ensemble for the short-lived improv show Thank God You're Here, and also had a recurring role on Nick Cannon Presents Short Circuits. That show would also be canceled after 1 season. Funk continued acting by appearing in a few episodes of Key and Peele, and would later have a recurring role on the rebooted Whose Line Is It Anyway? Funk still does improv as she participates in the live improv show, The Black Version, where an all-black cast improvises a black version of popular films that's suggested by the audience. She's joined by familiar faces like Cedric Yarbrough, Gary Anthony Williams, and Phil Lamar. Sometimes the group is also joined by special guests like Wayne Brady and Maya Rudolph. When she's not doing improv, Funk is raising her 2 children with her husband. Resicca Mather was also part of the original cast of Wild 'N Out, staying on for the first 5 seasons. Like Funk, Mather also started out in comedy through the Second City in Chicago. She supplemented her time by working as a copywriter during the day. In a 2018 interview, Mather recounts the day she auditioned for Wild 'N Out. What does stand out is the day I rapped and improvised for producers and Nick, and I just knew I impressed them. Then there was a 3rd round and they wanted to see how well we could improvise. Well, I got up there with crazy ass Spanky Hayes and I don't know what he was doing. But in improv, it's all about justifying your partner's crazy choices. So I did. And again, I knew I'd done well. Those confident feelings paid off. I'll tell you, the times you're confident, you can almost feel when you're going to book. And now I'm learning, after you're done showing your goods, you leave it on the field and walk away. Mather has made appearances in My Name is Earl, Weeds, Children's Hospital, Will and Grace, and the 2011 film, Crazy Stupid Love. Mather continues to perform improv and participate in local theater productions. Leonard Robinson was on Wild 'N Out for its first 4 seasons. After graduating from Howard University, he joined several improv groups. Like Naima Funk and Mikey Day, Robinson also appeared on Nick Cannon's Short Circuits for its only season. Robinson has continued acting in shows like The League, Parks and Recreation, NCIS, and Rel. Robinson was most recently seen in a recurring role in HBO's Insecure. Along with acting, Robinson continues to perform live improv shows and speaking in comedy seminars. Rob Hoffman got his big break after playing Max in 2004's You Got Served. From there, he was cast in Wild 'N Out, where he stayed for 4 seasons. While on Wild 'N Out, Hoffman continued acting, having roles in Coach Carter, Guess Who, and Step Up to the Streets. Hoffman continues to post dance videos on his social media while keeping busy touring. Taran Killam probably had the most on-screen experience before being cast in Wild 'N Out's 3rd season. At the age of 19, he was featured on The Amanda Show. That same year, he became a cast member on Mad TV, making him the youngest cast member in the show's history. Killam only stayed on for 1 season, but it wasn't long before Killam made his debut on Wild 'N Out and later Short Circuits. Because both Killam and Nick Cannon had a history of working at Nickelodeon, Killam stated that the two had crossed paths before. In a 2013 BuzzFeed interview, Killam said, "I think I came in to write for All That a little after Nick left, but we always circled each other. I auditioned for Wild 'N Out for the 1st season and I didn't get it. My best friend and roommate at the time, Mikey got it. The 2nd season, they asked me to come work, but I was working on a different project at the time. By the time the 3rd season came around, I had lost said job and was very happy to do Wild 'N Out." Killam enjoyed his time on the show and said the environment was very welcoming. Although he said he quickly realized that he was never going to match the other cast members talent-wise, which inspired him to fully embrace the white guy image. Killam's biggest role since leaving Wild 'N Out was SNL, where he became a cast member in 2010. Killam was the first Wild 'N Out alumni to make the jump to SNL before Mikey in 2013. Killam stayed on SNL for 6 years before leaving to pursue other projects. He was the 2nd person to join SNL after being on Nickelodeon following Kenan Thompson, and also the 2nd person to join SNL after being on Mad TV following Jeff Richards. Natasha Rothwell appeared in 9 episodes of Wild 'N Out between 2014 and 2015. It was one of her first regular TV roles. After Wild 'N Out, Rothwell wrote for SNL for 1 season before becoming known as the scene-stealing Kelly in Insecure. Like SNL, Mad TV, and In Living Color, Wild 'N Out has got its share of notable alumni that have now begun to make waves elsewhere in the world of comedy. Those smaller names that some may not mention right off the bat have not been forgotten and have given us some notable moments in Wild 'N Out history. Stay up to date with the latest news and comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel, and follow Comedy Hype across all social media. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Dom Smith.